Hi, my name is Three Wise Radio.
Hi, Three Wise Radio.
Garrett, it's the first week of October, which means Halloween is upon us. You got celebrating a little early on Facebook.
Always. I'm always celebrating Halloween.
So I just want to talk about this real quick because we're going to be Skyping in Sam later, and then we're going to be Skyping in Dom out in L.A. for our Luke Cage correspondent. But since I just have you 101, I want to run this by you.
Okay.
So you have the people who are obsessed with Christmas.
Yep.
Like Christmas starts November 1st or day after Thanksgiving.
People fucking start Christmas. There are stores selling Christmas stuff right now.
Exactly.
Like, that's not okay.
No, and I understand that. But so here's my question to you: is like we can clearly see the Christmas people. Mm-hmm. Like they're the ones who are maybe in a Christmas sweater already, or they've already put up their tree, or they've already started like playing Christmas music.
Yeah.
How do people, since you are one of the people I know that will fully embrace Halloween starting October 1st.
No, I'll start embracing Halloween the moment I came into this world.
Right, but like I'm not going to go to your house and see like a jack-o'-lantern already set up or something else. So like how is that a good thing? Like you guys just show more self-control or like
To be honest, like the moment fall hit, so like back on September 22nd, which I mean, we even had some fall days here in Chicago before that. I would, like, if we had decorations, I would have them up. I would have been like, yep, it's time. Like, usually about mid-September is when I get in the full Halloween swing. I'll play along for Thanksgiving and Christmas, but then the rest of the year, I'm in full Halloween mode.
All right.
Always.
All this, a man who can punch through steel, and a man who looks like a goblin on today's show.
I am all three of those things.
Welcome to Three Wise Radio, a podcast where we talk about TV, video games, movies, comic books, technology, the internet, and pretty much everything else media related. My name is Joe Greller. I am one of the Three Wise guys. Joining me, as usual, are the other two wise guys, Garrett Welker and Sam Pixley. Garrett, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good. A little congested. Sinuses have been hating me lately, so.
There we go. Joining us also, though, is Sam, as normal, which is not weird, but he's in Michigan, Birmingham.
Live from Birmingham, Michigan here.
See? Southern Birmingham.
Southern Birmingham.
Everybody assumes Birmingham is in Alabama. Because it is, but I am also in Birmingham, Michigan.
All right.
And the distance is not stopping us from actually giving you, as usual, a mediocre podcast as we do every week.
Oh, let's not. No.
No? It's an above par podcast?
Yes.
I'm just trying to be humble.
And I'm trying to be realistic.
Okay. Okay, let's start.
Staying out of it.
Let's start with some headlines as usual. Well, I guess I should say on the show we're going to be doing Luke Cage. And then because it's October and he has a film coming out in select theaters this past weekend, and then as well because he just looks like a goblin and once played a goblin, and we're getting in the Halloween theme already, we're going to be doing Willem Dafoe movies. Willem Dafoe movies, The Road Thus Far.
All right.
But as I was saying, first and foremost, some headlines this week, starting with the Batman solo movie has been named, and it will be named The Batman.
I saw this today for the first time, that article, and I'm just like, yeah, we
kind of knew that.
We kind of knew that.
You know what the best part about the whole thing is? Did you also read the article that he came out with talking about Deathstroke as the villain? Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the dude is just like on codeine or something, because his response is like, yeah, the movie, I think it's called The Batman. And I think Deathstroke's going to be a good villain because it seems like they match up pretty good. It's like, he seems so disinterested.
I don't know, because they just wrapped up Justice League, so
maybe he's a little burnt out, but yeah. I'm very excited for these things, but Ben Affleck is not helping me get excited right now.
Yeah,
I mean that makes sense. Here's my question when it comes to this: is that so we never have the like Spider-Man came out and it was Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. Now it's Spider-Man Homecoming. Superman came out. It's Superman Returns, Man of Steel, Batman Begins, The Batman. Will we ever actually cycle Batman or Spider-Man or Superman, or are those just title names untouchable now?
Oh, that's
because you don't want to confuse moviegoers with what could have, what movie it was or something.
I think they're untouchable until we do this again 40 years from now.
So you think it will be used again, but there's a set number of time.
Yeah, I think they'll be used again, but it'll be really far down the road.
Yep.
Okay, interesting. All right, moving on. The Pirates 5 trailer, poster, and some set pictures dropped this past week.
Yeah.
All Jack Sparrowless, which personally I enjoyed.
Makes it better.
It did. Javier Bardem, I'm going to be honest, I had no desire to see this movie, but after watching that 2-minute trailer, I'm kind of interested.
Yes!
Right?
I thought he did really well, and again, I think it's because there's no Johnny Depp in it, but he looked cool.
He's not,
I think every other guy, every other, I guess they're ghosts or something.
Yeah,
every other ghost looked really boring, but he looked awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what his shtick is, but I don't know.
He's a ghost.
Well, we've done ghosts already, though, didn't we?
No, we did
zombies.
No, they weren't zombies. They were a ghost ship, but these guys are like real ghosts, whereas those were like fish monster ghosts.
The Fountain of Youth? Okay.
No,
I think undead. Does undead work?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, okay. And this brought up an interesting question. I was listening to another podcast earlier in the week, and it was an older thing of this podcast. I know it happens, but they were talking about Darkseid casting. What about Javier Bardem
as Darkseid?
As Darkseid.
I haven't thought enough about it. I don't want to go down that road until they say that he's in it.
Why not just have Josh Brolin? Just have Josh Brolin play both.
Just have him play both because it's clearly the same character. Just one shoots Omega beams out of his eyes. Possibility. Staying in the Marvel Universe now, S.H.I.E.L.D. has just recently revealed, Garrett, I know you said you're going to keep watching S.H.I.E.L.D. Did you watch this past week's episode?
I did.
Okay. So did you notice that they revealed the name of the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes.
Do you know who that is?
Isn't he like a Hulk villain?
No, he's not a villain.
Or he's in the Hulk series though, isn't he? Because I know he gets like Hulk powers at one point.
At one point, but he's not a villain.
Yeah, General Mace.
He is codenamed the Patriot. He's a superhero.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And he actually was Captain America for a bit as well in Marvel Comics.
Interesting.
He is the character that that Marvel Comics used to explain how Captain America was actually in post-World War II stories. For example, in the Avengers, we see Captain America get unthawed because he was frozen in ice or whatever.
Yeah.
There is no actual comic that has him frozen in ice and Bucky dying. There is no issue of Captain America that actually has that storyline in it.
Interesting.
However, Captain America was still published after the war and shows both him and Bucky coming home. Well, Marvel later on in the late 70s figured they had to correct this continuity timeline scheme and said, well, no, the ice story did happen. And what happened was they had another man posed as Captain America come home and another Bucky come home and wave to the crowd and say everything's all right.
Believable.
That is who this character is, who's now the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Interesting.
Which my question to you then becomes, we know Chris Evans has a finite amount of time as being Captain America. We know that that Marvel's even said after Infinity War, we're going to move on with a new group of Avengers.
Yeah.
These characters no longer be in there.
Yeah.
However, Marvel's also notorious for saying Captain America can be this person and this person. Thor can be this person and this person even. Do you think we'll see a Captain America-like figure on S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe season 8 or 7 or something like that down the line, but not Chris Evans or Steve Rogers, but a different person by that name?
Are you asking if Mace is going to become...
Not him specifically, maybe him, but someone else.
I don't think that
maybe we'll see these characters ingrained finally in S.H.I.E.L.D.
No.
No?
I don't.
Never? Not even as another actor?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I don't think so.
I think it's less of another actor thing and more of like a... It's kind of the same thing we were... kind of the same thing we were talking about off air, where like just the universes are malleable enough that we could get them together all like on the Netflix, ABC, and movie universes. We could get them all together, but like it'd be okay if they stayed separate.
Sure.
So,
I think they want to try and steer away from it because you want to. Essentially, at some point, they have to get rid of these key characters and bring up new heavy hitters.
Yeah.
You can't keep having. Eventually, Iron Man's not going to be a thing anymore. Eventually, these guys are going to filter away. Until I think, if anything, you're going to have somebody. If somebody's not stepping in from the movie universe, I don't think anybody's going to take the Captain America shield. Yeah. I think he could be like a Captain America type figure and make him be like the Patriot or whatever.
Yeah, I could see them like having him relive like.
Well, they've already established he is an Inhuman and has strength.
Yeah, I could see them like kind of establishing the Patriot role, but not Captain America role.
Okay. Do you ever
also keep in mind Cap doesn't have his shield right now?
Correct.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things we could do with that. Okay, staying in the world of television news, you may have heard earlier this year that Archer was renewed for 3 more seasons 8, 9, and 10. What you may not have heard now, though, is the showrunner, I forget his name, though, has already said
it's done at 10,
at 10. It is now done. And these next 3 seasons will be shorter seasons as well, only consisting of 8 episodes. Oh. He said he was actually ready to call it quits after season 8, but figured out a way that he could continue the show for an additional 3 more seasons and make it entertaining, stating that like how we saw Vice and like the Private Eye agency this year, each season will be different from the next. You guys like that or not? You like it?
I like I like the trend of which kind of seems like, I mean, you don't want to say Game of Thrones is doing it, but I like the trend now of writers announcing when their show's done. I know it's not as nearly as big of a show, but I know The Strange just said it's going to end in season 4. I like the idea now of these shows going out on their own terms.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a nod to them or if it's a nod to like TV studios don't have as much power as they used to say like, no, you have to stay. We're giving you this much money and you're going to stay. Or is that a show of the times giving up more creative control?
I actually don't think they don't have as much power saying, hey, you're going to stay, because there is no guarantee anymore. I mean, to hear a show like Archer got renewed for 3 more seasons is kind of unheard of. I mean, you have it with like a Bones or a How I Met Your Mother did it a couple times. Big Bang's done it. But it's very rare, and I can't actually even think of another cable show that's been renewed for more than 1 season at a time. I guess Always Sunny has. They've tried to lock that in a few times, but that's about it, in all honesty. I'm happy, but I'm surprised because especially this is the first time we've ever heard of an animated show saying we're done. I mean, South Park continues to go on and is getting better actually this season. I said it was bad a few episodes ago, but the next 2 episodes has actually gotten really better. Simpsons won't go away to save its life and keeps reinventing itself. Family Guy somehow still remains on the air, and
somehow
no one we know watches it. We covered that. American Dad got renewed by TBS somehow after it was supposed to go off the air. So it's the first time without hearing like, oh, a show's getting canceled. This is the first actually animated show that I've heard of saying, we have a way we're going to end it. We know how we're going to end it. It's done. Which is interesting and refreshing to me. Mm-hmm. All right. Our final headline for the week. Well, if you've been following, I hate that it's called this, the Arrowverse or the Guggenheim verse.
The CW verse.
CW verse. Or
we're all just living in Googie's world, man.
Uncle Googs.
Whatever. The Berlanti verse, whatever you want to call it. The CW superhero universe has officially announced its villain for its 4-show crossover.
And it is?
And it is the Dominators. Which was... Okay. It's a villain who was created by Todd McFarlane.
Okay.
Of the Spawn fame.
Yeah.
For the 1989 crossover event that was DC called Invasion. What this basically was a sad... You remember when the Skrulls took over the Marvel Universe?
Yeah.
It was a sad version of that. I've read it. I've read it because I downloaded all the post-Crisis Superman comics, and it actually had like the giant crossovers involved in it as well. The storyline eventually leads to like Superman leaving Earth for a while and everything else, but it's not great.
It's lackluster.
No, the most interesting thing in it to me was the fact that Jason Todd was still Robin in it.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, this is a thing. Okay. Seeing a Robin storyline that's not Dick or Tim. Cool.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because wasn't Jason dead by this point? Or had he died yet?
It was around this time. It was like right before.
Okay.
You know what? You know what this just screams to me, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later on, but this just screams to me generic. Why should I care?
This coming from the one man on this podcast that still watches Arrow.
Well, honestly, when shows are doing really well and they'll come out with something like this, you say, "Oh, that's interesting. Like they're pulling a lesser known character. Let's see what they can do to make it interesting." When you're watching this show and I see that they pulled, that just makes me think, okay, we're gonna get a bland villain that doesn't really have any depth, and it's just gonna be kind of a purpose to get Supergirl into the CW universe or whatever they're gonna try and do. It's not gonna be compelling. It's not gonna be interesting. It's just gonna be boring.
And they've already revealed that Supergirl will meet Arrow for the first time on Arrow's 100th episode.
Can't wait.
I actually will admit, I'll watch this crossover. I'll watch the 100th episode. There are
Apparently, everyone's in the 100th episode.
Apparently.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Deathstroke, Katie Cassidy, everybody.
100 episodes are tricky, man. I'm going to be honest. Every show I've ever followed, I've never seen a bad 100th episode that I followed very closely.
Because you're sentimental.
I am. Well, yes and no. I mean, even Supernatural didn't acknowledge it was their 100th episode, but it was a good episode.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
It was the God one. It was the one where they fought the gods in the hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was a good episode, yeah.
It was a good
It was
episode,
a great episode.
But it has nothing to do with the show itself. It's just like, yeah, this was our 100th episode. We didn't really acknowledge it.
It was good.
We're going to keep going.
Yep.
I mean, the 200th one was fantastic. They performed their own version of a musical of themselves. But yeah, Smallville, Jonathan Kent died. The 100th episode of Buffy is the WB finale before it switches to UPN. I don't know. I've never seen... So I'm very weary of Arrow's 100th episode because I feel like this is going to set precedent for this entire universe because you assume that these other three shows will live to see a 100th episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel like they haven't earned it?
Arrow?
Yeah.
I kind of agree with you. It's sad that we're already at that point. Right? I don't know what... I kind of want to watch Flash, and that's it.
Yeah. Speaking of, are these shows going to
End?
Well, I mean, no. I was going to say, like, when are these shows supposed to be, like, their new season supposed to be coming?
Next week.
Yes. Okay. Never mind. Follow-up question. Are they just streaming on the CW service now?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I thought.
CW has ended their ties with Hulu.
All right.
So there's a new Flash from the city for you.
Whenever I want something smooth and classy, I listen to 3 Wise Radio.
Marvel's latest Netflix show, Luke Cage, is now officially out on, well, I guess Netflix. It's the third in the Defenders series. So we thought we'd, sit here and do what we normally do with Netflix shows, review the first episode only, because this way it gives people time. We assume by, it's been 4 days. By the time you hear it, you've probably seen the first episode, but maybe you're not through the season like Garrett is, or maybe you've only
That was going to be my question. How much have all of us seen this?
I finished it today.
Yeah, I'm on the 3rd episode.
I'm on 1.
I'm on 1 as well.
All right.
Okay, so we got a good spread.
Yeah.
So we're only going to review the first episode. That way you can listen to this review, not feel spoiled, and go at your own pace.
Everyone dies. Sorry. Spoilers. Everyone dies.
As is tradition.
Okay. So before I continue, let's welcome in our senior Luke Cage correspondent, Dom Thomas, who is out in LA making this now a 3-time zone, 3-state podcast, basically.
Yeah.
Dom,
Hello, podcast world. It's been a while.
It has. Dom, what makes you our senior Luke Cage correspondent?
I'm black. What else do you need? Hold on.
100% accuracy.
Thank you. I'll give you a whole different view from a different side of the world. You know what I'm saying? When I say Black Matters, Life Matters is a whole different thing than when you say Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? It's a different world. Different world.
Sure.
All right. All right. I should have been expecting that, but I wasn't expecting that.
Oh, shit's about to happen, man. Oh, can I curse on this one? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yeah, you know, we're explicit now.
Oh, shit's about to happen then.
Okay, so
And we got to, because they say the N-word in this show, so we got to really address
That they
that.
do.
too.
Really
Yeah, we gotta address
tactfully, I thought too.
This show, I love every bit of it, because one thing that they really did capture is black culture. I mean, when you watch this, you don't feel like white people wrote it. More than likely, white people wrote it, but you don't feel like white people wrote it, which I think is cool. Only some parts that you get that. But we'll get into that later.
all right, so we'll get into that later, but let's first and foremost start with the intro, because the intro is basically what separates these Marvel shows from the movies. You have that stereotypical, but at this point it becomes like these intros are starting to look the same to me. Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, thank you. They all starting to look the same, but they have their own unique feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
I personally thought, and it's the first thing I thought because I actually love all of these intros, I thought that Luke Cage's music was on point with the other ones, with the other intros, but I felt like the animations were the lowest quality that they've been. I thought they were still okay, but comparatively, I think they rank the same. I think Daredevil's is the best. Jessica Jones was the second best, and this one's been the weakest showing so far, but I love the music.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think maybe trying to show a fist punch a wall was too much throughout the entire opening of the intro. Instead, just show us Harlem, show us more sights and sounds and people, as opposed to, it's like, oh, don't forget, this is Luke Cage. This is Luke Cage, and he's very strong.
Yeah.
He's got fists, 2 of them.
Right? No, that's the thing. It's a fist. It's a fist punching a wall. So what is it going to be for Iron Fist when that comes out?
Fiery fist.
It's going to be very
Probably.
dragon related.
Probably. Okay, so get the intro out of the way. That's done. Let's get into the show itself. The tone. All these Marvel shows have a very similar, very different tone, but they look filmed in a very similar way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luke Cage, I thought, was better than Jessica Jones at this, because for the first time you feel that this is set in a different part of New York. You actually get a feel for the character.
They do a really good job of showing that you're in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're uptown. They make sure to address where they are the entire time. And that atmosphere, I mean, when you get off the bus on 125th Street, it's a whole different feel than getting off in Times Square or Hell's Kitchen or even in Alphabet City. So, like, I mean, from someone who's been there before me, I really felt like they captured the essence. You see the basketball court, you see the barbershop, you feel like this and that. Now, my friend Tommy, he feels like it's in Queens a little bit, because it reminds him of Coming to America with the old black dude at the barbershop. But that's New York, though. That's just the caption, like the place that it always goes down. You always get your hair cut and hear the news at the barbershop, you know. And I love that they capture all those different spots, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think you could have guessed 50-50 where is Luke Cage going to open. It's probably going to open in a barbershop. That would have been a safe assumption.
Yeah.
Just because it's really going, I mean, Luke Cage was kind of almost Marvel's blaxploitation when it first came out.
That's exactly what he was, yeah.
And they did a pretty strong job. Like, it wasn't clearly that, but it had definitely some of those elements. And I think what Dom was kind of getting at before is kind of the biggest thing, is it felt authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It felt like this wasn't somebody who's doing research on what Harlem is. This felt like somebody who lived in Harlem wrote about what the culture was kind of like. And I think they did a good job of kind of modernizing kind of that blaxploitation setting. And I think I was really impressed with that.
And some of that has to do with the music. And Garrett and I were talking about this earlier. This is some of the best sound layering I've ever seen in a TV show. And a lot of that has to do with the music. You go online and look at each individual episode. Sam and I have joked about this on the podcast before, but it's true. It does the old WB things where it's music in this episode was this. Music in this episode was by this person, and it breaks it down. And that's kind of refreshing when it comes to something, especially when the music has to do with as much as the culture and the character that it does in Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And they're bringing in different artists too. I mean, like I said, we're just doing the first episode. So with the first episode, we got the homie from Tony actually performing on the stage at Cottonmouth's club, and like he's actually a well-known R&B artist within the genre. I always mess up his name, so I just always he's one of the Tonys from Tony. That's how that's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna try to make because he has a weird name, just like Cottonmouth. I looked at Cottonmouth's name. It's like Mahershala Ali.
He's Remy Denton. All right, just go with that. He's Remy Denton.
I'm not even. He's Remy from
House of Cards.
But even with that, it's like I love the music. I love how they move it within everything that's going on. I don't know if y'all got the chance to watch The Get Down. I've been watching The Get Down, and it does a great job of mixing music within the concept of the show.
I would agree with that.
I think you're right. It's almost like the thing that they always make fun of is that like white guys have no rhythm. This show felt like it had rhythm and it had a flow, and it was very organic. Like I was very impressed.
I would agree 100%. Yeah. This also has right away a diverse villain setting. Like we haven't really gotten
multiple villains
in Jessica Jones or Daredevil, and right off the bat you get Cottonmouth and Shade.
Yeah.
Two villains, and I've read online even as we'll go through the series as well that this has the most villains of any Marvel product to date. Is that a good thing or a bad thing going forward?
Black people's cut shit up. That's pretty much what it's all about, right? I feel like white people in this day and age think two things of black people. They think barbershops is no.
You're not allowed to think what I think about things.
No, because like you see TV shows or movies or anything, it always has something to do with a barbershop. So barbershop's always there. You know what I'm saying? And they have to do something like their job can't be like official. Like, I mean, you know, everybody's not going to be Bill Cosby and be like a doctor or something. He's got to be a dishwasher, sweeping the floor. Or you got to be sanitary in Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be doing something dirty and gritty, you know? And but that's the thing. Like this guy, you know, he just out of the pen or whatever. And it's just, anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I just wanted to point out the fact that he was sweeping floors at a barbershop. And it seemed
I think it's because he was a fugitive.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was a fugitive, and he couldn't get an official job because of that.
I know, it's just funny.
Okay, so, yeah, you're right.
We're talking about villains?
Yes.
Villain?
I'm sorry about that. My boy Cottonmouth, easily one of my favorite characters in the entire show. And of course, a couple episodes go by, you'll start to see more dynamics in his character and his relationships with different people within the show, and which is really cool that they show that with a villain. Because I mean, in ways, I found myself actually being like, man, I kind of like that guy, you know what I'm saying? But I see what he's all about, and
you respect him, but you don't have to like him.
Yeah, exactly. And that shot of him right in front of Biggie Smalls it's too good. It's too good.
That's one of the best lined up shots I've seen in any Netflix series. Period.
They're good at doing tracking shots or pulling out shots. That's something that they definitely specialize in. I actually think I've only seen one episode. I think that these villains and like this setting is so compelling. This is the first Marvel, or probably first of any comic book show, that I would actually like to see this from the perspective of Cottonmouth and kind of see less Luke Cage and kind of see him coming in as an outside figure. And I'd like to see like this story kind of take place from the crime aspect.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. As much time as we spent with Wilson Fisk and Daredevil, I want to spend even more time with Cottonmouth than they did with Wilson Fisk.
Yeah. I want to spend it with Cottonmouth. I want to spend it with his cousin. See the cops play out. I want to see Luke Cage, I want to see this kind of split into thirds. I want to see the cop investigation. I want to see Luke Cage in the smallest aspect. I know you can't do the smallest aspect of a third, whatever. And then just a lot more Cottonmouth, and just that world that they've built seems very unique.
It's almost like the first Marvel show and Netflix show that you want to see more of the ensemble as opposed to a character-driven thing. Like in House of Cards, everything has to revolve around Frank or Underwood or his wife. I can't think of his name. But Claire. And then you have, I'm blanking on Netflix shows now. Narcos. Well, I mean, everything revolved around Pablo Escobar, so I don't know how they're continuing that show, but yeah.
Because it's going to be an anthology series.
I know. We covered this. Okay. But everything normally in a Netflix show, revolves around one character. Like, you can say what you want about Jessica Jones, and yes, you got to delve more into what the Purple Man was doing, but it revolved around her.
Yeah.
Daredevil revolves around Matt Murdock. Here, Luke Cage, I want to see, like Sam was right, I want to see more of this diverse world.
And you do. You do.
Marvel's doing yeah. Oh.
Go ahead, man.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Marvel's doing a wonderful job of getting everyone involved. I really think. Since we've seen this whole thing develop. You know, from Blade. That's where it started. I feel like, or Punisher, one of those two.
Blade.
But
no,
when
Blade
it started with Blade, like we found somebody that a lot of people knew but didn't know. You know what I'm saying? And it blew up. And Iron Man, I didn't really know Iron Man until Robert Downey Jr. You know,
No one did.
that's
Yeah, you're not the only
beautiful.
one.
And they've continued to add people to it in different ways. And this is the only time in any generation I feel like that they would be able to do this. This show especially. You couldn't do this show 10 years ago. No. But
Dom,
now
are
you got this.
Are you saying we found our new Wesley Snipes?
No, Wesley
He's
Snipes is our
better
Wesley
than
Snipes.
Wesley Snipes.
Oh.
He pays his
That is
taxes. He doesn't beat women. He likes white people. He's everything.
Better than Wesley Snipes. That is a bold statement, my friend.
Okay,
No, but he's perfect for the role, and I love what they're doing and introducing all these people, and they're taking the time to do everyone, even the villains. You know everything about everything.
Yeah.
We're all becoming bigger nerds because of it.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%. Okay, so I've got some notes written here that I want to get to. Like I said, you can still tell it's filmed by like an ABC Studios type deal with the lighting and the settings and everything, but it has its own individual feel, which I feel like we've touched upon. Here's the one thing. This is the first time watching this show where like Jessica Jones, Daredevil, I'm like, oh, I kind of want him to be in the bigger Marvel universe as well. You know, I maybe want to see these characters pop up. I don't want to see Luke Cage pop up in a bigger movie. For the first time, I want a Defenders universe and an Avengers universe.
You know why I
don't
think
want
that
those
is?
two to cross, because I feel like it would mess up the opposing universes.
I think, and I'm kind of on a similar vein with you, is that while like Civil War was good, all that stuff is still good. It's stale, but not in a bad way, if that makes sense. Like it's its own thing. We know the rhythm of that. We know the way that universe is going on. This was the first time where I watched Luke Cage, and when they had their first bit of like, oh man, I got DVDs, I got Blu-rays of the Attack with the Green Giant and all that stuff. I was like, I don't care about that right now. I want to know what's going on in Harlem. And I don't need him to be a part of this, because you're right. The stuff that's going on now, the Avengers wouldn't get involved with. Like It's not important. It's not relevant. They can do their own thing. And I just want to see more of this story. And it felt fresh.
And also, you can't tell me when we've seen strippers basically topless sitting on laps in the first episode. and you haven't seen strippers sitting topless on Robert Downey Jr.'s lap, who's Tony Stark, supposedly this billionaire playboy. It's not the same world. You know, you're not going to go in and see Captain America shatter a femur, but you've seen Daredevil come in and shatter a femur. You know, you're not going to see superhero sex in the next Disney Marvel movie, but we've seen that in Jessica Jones. So
but wouldn't we love to see Scarlett Johansson just put it down a little bit? You know, just a little bit for me.
That police officer lady was doing work too.
Misty better stop playing. Oh, man. I have a crush every time, man. And Rosario didn't even make an appearance in this episode. And I'm like, I'm cool with that, you know, because Misty.
You're absolutely right. No, okay. Speaking of this, though, since we're kind of delving into this topic, what happened between Jessica Jones and Luke Cage? Because you remember in like Jessica Jones, when Luke Cage slept with Jessica Jones, he was like, "Oh, I might hurt you. Like, I don't want to hurt you." Here, he just goes for it with this non-superpowered woman, and he's like, "When did you learn to control your power?"
He's very gentle.
He was gentle.
Yeah.
It was a gentle squeeze on those boobies, like a real gentle caress almost. He took care of her.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to, you know, wreck her. You know, Jessica had that dangerous attitude, so he was putting it down on her. And he was like, "I'm trying to calm myself, trying to calm down."
Hang on, when you say wrecker, that's a whole new concept when it comes to this.
Did you enjoy the cheesy little nod moments of like, "Look at you, Power Man." He's like, "I want to hire you. I'm not for hire."
Yeah.
No, that's all great.
Come on.
Oh, I love it. I love all of those like throwbacks to like the classic Luke Cage and like the early Marvel comics, and it's just, I think it's like a little later episode, but like you even see him in the full old school original outfit. It's not like an intentional like I'm gonna wear this now sort of thing, but it's like
It was in the teaser, right?
Yeah, it was in the last
I think
trailer
it was in
before
the
it.
teaser. I thought it looked awesome.
no, you're not. I'm not talking just the tiara and the wristbands. I'm talking the whole big yellow coat, blue pants,
Does he have
the whole
belt?
thing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like in like a hoodie or something too, like that as well, right?
I've only seen the image where he's wearing the tiara, but it's like the medical procedure, which I think looks really cool. I like that. I like when they do little nods like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree. I
I
mean,
want to see him hit someone with a chain, though.
black exploitation. We basically said it, and so make fun of the fact that you basically did 70s black exploitation when you first started the comic. Embrace it because that is part of the culture of what birthed Luke Cage and gained his popularity.
Mm-hmm.
You know who didn't like it?
Who?
Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, of course. Whatever.
Fuck Quentin Tarantino.
Tarantino wouldn't like that.
He was mad that it wasn't black exploitation enough.
That would actually make a lot of sense to me.
That makes sense. Yeah.
All right,
He's
so-
always about that life.
So let's give our rating system on it. We do a different rating system for Netflix shows than we do for movies because it's completely different. Out of 10, what would you rate this one? Dom, you go first, man, because you're the expert. You're the correspondent here.
Well, I mean, I'm just going off the first episode.
Sure,
I'm just
exactly.
do first episode. I would give it 8.5. And that's just, it's really, really, really good. I've always hated cheesy moments. And, I mean, I'm still learning things, and I like the villain more than Luke, so I can't give him a straight up 9 if that makes sense. And I don't know if that's bad.
No,
for
I think that's
episodes,
great for a show.
but
That shows the show has diversity in it.
Yeah, I just love Cottonmouth's character. He's such a great actor too.
Oh yes.
And it's really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's to come next.
Sam, go ahead.
I'm gonna give it a little bit of a step down. I'll give it an 8 as a show or as an episode. I'd give it like a 9 out of 10. I thought it was rock solid. It definitely made me want to watch the next episode. But I kind of rate it as an 8 out of 10 in my mind because there's a lot of things that I want to see happen, and I know that with like Daredevil, there is a tendency to kind of slip down a little bit as the show goes on. I know Jessica Jones got a lot better as the show went on, but I kind of want to see where it goes and what kind of avenues it takes, because it still hasn't quite made all of its decisions yet of what kind of show it wants to be after seeing it after one episode. So fingers crossed that it keeps going with what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 as well. I think it's by far, it might be the best premiere episode of a Marvel Netflix show I've seen. Because Daredevil, while Daredevil's great, Daredevil hooks you with episode 2 with that hallway fight scene and everything else. So the first episode's kind of feeling out. Here, we didn't need a backstory for Luke Cage because we got it in Jessica Jones. So it felt more like watching like a sequel, like The Dark Knight or Iron Man 2, where it's like we don't have to go through his origin story. We've kind of got it. Let's get right into the thick and meat of things. Here he is. So by far, I think it's the best premiere episode because we didn't have to do background work on this character.
I think you're right. With Daredevil, you were invested in Matt Murdock after episode 1. With this, you're invested in the whole story.
Exactly. More than one character, everything else. Garrett, you've already seen the entire season, but what do you give the first episode?
I would honestly give the first episode a 9.
Okay.
Based on everything that you guys have said. Like,
it gets worse. I can tell in Garrett's voice.
Wow. No, I mean, like, you guys kind of hit all the points that I already was wanting to, like, you are invested in this world, you are invested in the character, but, like, episode 1 hooks you on the world. Episode 1, it just delves you into the world of Harlem, and, like, it's seriously just, like, so well written, so well layered with the sound and with the music and everything. It's just, like, I could just watch seasons of just Luke Cage.
Mm-hmm. Like, I would agree with that.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a shame that they've already announced season 2 is going to come after Defenders comes out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I honestly think that this character, this superhero, is perfect for the place in the world we are right now too. I mean, you got a black man whose skin doesn't get penetrated by bullets, with all the stuff that's going on. He's the exact kind of image you want, that perfect guy who will stand up for his community, and he's out there, he's a positive image of what we want, and I just love it. I love that it came out now. I love everything about it. The shots are great. The villains are great. I'm just really excited to watch it.
I mean, I would agree. I mean, it's the first true, for the most part, all black ensemble superhero cast that you're going to see. I mean, Black Panther's going to do it later on, but even then, it's a fictionalized city of Wakanda.
Yeah.
These people aren't, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing really to shape their personalities in culture to where Harlem's a real place.
Yeah.
And events that happen in Harlem are very real. So you can take that and put that forward in a TV show and really show it.
Absolutely.
Something I wanted to throw in. For some reason, my mental head thinks the Marvel Universe is in the same universal as Coming to America. Because I like...
It might be. I mean,
Calling it.
Because I think that Luke Cage is going to bump into like the Arsenio Hall character in New York. And
Which
then
one?
they're going to go to Black Panther in Africa, and they're going to have like a meeting of the kings. And then Eddie Murphy's going to be there chilling. Like, I feel like it's all blended together. I don't know why, but that's where my head goes.
I hope you're listening, Marvel. Make this happen.
Exactly. It's not the first crazy idea that we've had that sounds like it might work, so why not? Tom, thanks for joining us. We'll check in with you a little bit later.
Of course.
Let's see. I've been working on my diction, so let's give this a shot. Three wise. No.
Three Wise Radio.
But since it is October, and October is the Halloween month, and if you've been on Facebook, you've seen people like Garrett who have started to already post Halloween stuff.
All about that Halloween.
The moment October 1st hits, we thought we'd do something Halloween-y every episode for the month of October. Now, with that being said, we really have nothing except for the fact that a Willem Dafoe movie came out this past weekend, and he...
Stretch,
but it makes sense. Hang on with me here. He is a scary-looking man, and once played a goblin in a movie. So, without further ado, we present our new segment, The Road Thus Far, Willem Dafoe edition. Willem. Is it Willem?
Yeah, it's Willem Dafoe.
it's Willow. It's Willem.
It's Willow? I like Willow Dafoe.
No.
Willow Dafoe?
No.
No, Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. All right. The movie in question, though, is the Headhunter games, which we were going over the cast, though, off air. Headhunter's Calling?
Yes.
Okay, Headhunter's Calling. Cast is great, though.
Yeah.
We're going off that off air. But no, let's delve into what is Norman Osborn, and should always be Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin, Willem Dafoe's career. Honestly, I've gone over his IMDb stuff, his Wikipedia stuff. There's nothing worthy talking about before Platoon.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
The only thing worthy of talking before Platoon, did you know that Willem Dafoe actually got kicked out of his high school?
No, I did not.
Do you know why?
No.
Enlighten us.
Would you believe me if I told you he got kicked out for making a pornographic film?
On school grounds?
I don't know if it was on school grounds, but there's a very interesting interview called What I Know About Women that Willem Dafoe did at 54. And he just talks about, I'm assuming it came out 2009, so probably when like something erotic he was in was coming out, because sometimes he likes to do that. It was just talking about his sexuality and him growing up young and his interactions with women. It's just a matter of the fact I was kicked out of school for making a pornographic film. I was a young boy in Wisconsin, and there wasn't a lot going on.
All right.
So,
all right.
and then there was Platoon.
And then there was Platoon, which he was nominated an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
Oh, yeah. Good old Platoon.
Jeez. I mean, you know, that's really probably the only thing you're going to think of him in it going through. I mean, sure, he has a cameo in Crybaby, which is a Johnny Depp movie that a lot of people like. He's in Mississippi Burning, which is a good Gene Hackman movie that a lot of people like. But they're only like here and there, and it's not really until Boondock Saints comes out does he become on the map. Because I'm going to tell you probably his biggest... well, he's in The English Patient. I'm sorry, he's in The English Patient for a bit. But I'm going to tell you the biggest name of movies that's off his sheet here is Speed 2 Cruise Control.
Yes.
He's basically the Dennis Hopper replacement / villain for this film.
He's done a lot of villain roles up until this point.
I mean, yeah, because he's a creepy-looking guy. He's an angry, creepy-looking man. There are two things Willem Dafoe is good at, and we'll get to the second one in a minute. It's a villain and a vampire. which is also October, tying this in, trying so hard to keep this relevant.
You're doing the best you can with what you got, Joe.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. But yeah, so you have Speed 2, Cruise Control, which is basically the first time I think I remember seeing him in anything.
Yeah.
And then 99 hits. He does Boondock Saints, and he blows up. Boondock Saints, American Psycho, and the creme de la creme, Shadow of the Vampire in 2000. Yes. Nominated. Creme de la creme. Nominated again for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Didn't win. Nominated for a lot of things, actually. Shadow of the Vampire, when he plays an actual vampire. Which, Garrett, have you seen this film yet?
I have not.
We keep telling you to see this
It's
one.
very good.
This
very
film
good.
is so good. But he's nominated for Best Supporting Actor Academy Award, Chicago Film Critics Association for Best Supporting Actor, Dallas-Fort Worth Film Critics Best Supporting Actor, Golden Globe Best Supporting Actor, San Diego Film Critics Best Supporting Actor, Screen Actors Guild Best Supporting Actor.
Jeez.
Wins none of them.
Ouch.
Yeah. But it took hold.
All right.
Then pretty much nothing until 2002 when Spider-Man comes out.
Then it became a household name.
Do you think he became a household name by that point?
No, absolutely not. He's one of the few individuals that has just throughout his entire existence has become like a cult classic. Like he is a cult classic. You know, like movies are cult classics. He is a cult classic.
I would agree with that.
As a person.
Kind of like a Nick Cage phenomenon sort of thing.
Almost, but like I know that he was nominated for things, but like Nick Cage also has movies where he's acting and people like know of them. Mm-hmm. Dafoe just is a cult classic without no one else knows anything else that he's in other than just the culty stuff.
No, you're absolutely right on that. I mean, other than Spider-Man, yeah, that's probably true. I mean, let's go through here. I mean, The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Did I say that right finally? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's in that. He's in Once Upon a Time in Mexico. I forgot about. I love that movie.
He's in a lot of Wes Anderson films.
Yeah, he is in a lot of Wes Anderson films.
Grand Budapest.
Mm-hmm. I did not know this because I've yet to watch the sequel to Triple X, even though it is still on my Netflix queue. He's apparently in Triple X State of the Union.
He's in a lot of stuff too. For how like visibly
noticeable he
identifiable he is. Yeah, he sneaks into a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so great about him. I really do.
You know, it's a possibility. Daybreakers, Circus to Freak the Vampire's Assistant. The man likes to play a vampire a lot.
John Wick. Yeah,
we weren't even getting to that. Coming up on the line. He's going to be in the upcoming Justice League film as well.
Yeah, I'm interested about that.
As a Atlantean, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Probably. Who knows?
No, he is.
Well, you never know.
So I want to ask you this because, Garrett, this was your original, like... We talked about doing this with another actor, which we'll do in an upcoming podcast. The Road Thus Far. We talked about originally doing this with the Road Thus Far, another actor. But okay. Why did you get so excited when you were the one who came up with this topic, and you were like, let's do Willem Dafoe movies. And I'm like, all right, because I was already thinking about that with another actor. What is the appeal?
That's a good question.
Agreed.
What?
It was agreed.
I'd have to say that, like, and I think you kind of were touching on it earlier, but like, it's because he's able to portray these like very intimidating, aggressive characters, but he's so charismatic about it each time. He's just got this certain appeal, and I think Sam was talking about it earlier. With he is a cult. He has a cult following in and of himself, sort of thing, and he's got that mystery thing that like you're like, that's really weird, but I really want to see more of that, you know. I think it's not really so much something you can pinpoint, but like
I can pinpoint it.
Whatever it is, he's got it. What is it, Sam?
It's that in Hollywood, this is a man who is let's just be blunt. He is unattractive, and he gives it 110% every time. I think that's it. Is that you've got this guy that looks weird. He's not like a boring like Brad Pitt, Hemsworth. All these guys are very attractive, but eventually they kind of just blend in, and it's like, okay, here's this guy doing this movie, great. He's a guy that stands out, and I've never seen him not give double negative maximum effort in one of his movies, or in something that he's a part of. So it's just like he's different, he's unique, and part of that is because he's kind of unattractive.
You know what? It really might be. So we always in today's world go with dream casting roles, and they're usually superhero roles. But here's a guy who already has done,
had his.
Yeah, pretty much. He's already done Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. He's going to be in Justice League. Is there any character of any? It doesn't, not comic book. Doesn't have to be anything. But is there anyone who you're like, when we name a character and you're like, you know who should play him? Willem Dafoe. So who do you think Willem Dafoe should play? If you were going to do an adaptation of anything, go straight for it.
I know there's been a lot of fan art around it going around, but in his Boondock Saints era, he would have made a good Joker.
He could still do it.
Okay.
If they were able to do, I mean, yes, because it's a very popular choice. I think if you do, who would Dafoe play? Dafoe could play an older Joker. Like a Dark Knight Returns Joker.
I was about ready to say it,
but it's too late for that. So you got to move on.
Too late because he's too old, or too late because we've already done the Dark Knight Returns.
Because the universe is already underway and they didn't go that way.
Yeah.
So I think even 10 years down the road, he could still probably do it if they want to mix it up, do something else. But I don't know. I'm trying to think of the craziest person I can think of for a movie. I don't know. It's tough to pinpoint him to somebody.
I would since he's already gone through with Green Goblin, obviously they're probably not gonna even consider him for a Green Goblin for this new Spider-Man. I could see him if they wanted. I would love to see him in as the Jackal.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be just, he'd be my ideal casting for that.
That actually, I could see that. Shockingly, I could see that.
Would you want to see him as a Bond villain?
Yes. Oh my God, yeah. You know what? There you go. I think you just hit my dream casting on the head. Yes, because he would be the most diabolical, right? Because here's the thing. We've had Walken already as a Bond villain. The problem was the Bond Walken went up against was a decrepit old Roger Moore. So we're not able to fully enjoy the greatness that is the Walken Bond villain because he is the only reason to watch that film. Unless you want to try and spot all the times where it's a body double because you can just tell from the comb over in Roger Moore's head. But in all honesty, yes. How has this not happened yet?
I want you to imagine this. So we're gonna pretend that say Tom Hiddleston has been cast as our next Bond.
Okay.
And we've got Willem Dafoe as our villain. Paint it out for us.
The storyline?
I want you to imagine what you're.
I'm already imagining that much, and that's great. I'm excited.
I have no idea what I would want it to be, but for some reason, I want to see. Just because something that Marvel's done so terribly is just these bland villains that eventually go crazy. I want to see a movie where he is a Bond villain that starts the film completely crazy and gets progressively more sane until it culminates where this guy makes too much sense to be a villain.
Ooh.
And just see how Bond handles that.
Ooh.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does.
Does he end up? I mean, it makes sense, but does he end up saving the world in the end, or?
No. I think he's still a villain, but it becomes such a something for even what I would like is if it were this Craig, because it becomes such an intellectual problem for him that the situation becomes almost like a Ra's al Ghul thing. Where it's I have to cleanse this world, but he does it in a way that it actually makes sense. You have to have a really well-written script for him to do something where what he's going to do is actually something that may need to be done, and you actually have to have some kind of conflict with that. But that's a huge leap.
Once again, just like our Star Wars movies, we've come up, once again, Hollywood, with the perfect way to keep extending your franchises. But yet
Just
you refuse to listen to this show for some reason.
Man.
I think it's.
I mean, we would have to come up with a script, and
No. Half of Hollywood doesn't come up with a script. Sam, we've got your treatment right there. We just talked
no,
about
what I'm
this.
saying, for him to do this, you would need an amazing script.
True. They've got money.
I just think that if anybody could handle doing a reverse of someone going crazy, Dafoe could do it.
You're absolutely right. How has this not happened? We talked about this last week with Pratt and Lawrence. You know, we felt like how Sam was saying, they felt like someone just got them in a room. It was like, let's put them in a movie together. How has someone not been like Dafoe, Bond villain?
Go.
Do it.
Oh, man.
I think because they've been trying to streamline it too much with like let's make. They're trying to avoid that Bond like kind of campy villains, but they've started to kind of go back the other way.
I mean,
so there still might be time depending on where they go with the next movie.
I would agree with that, but look at the last two. The last two were well-known names. I mean, and I would put both of those guys in the like Bardem, and I can't think of the dude from Inglourious Basterds. Well, thank you, Bardem and Waltz. Kind of to a certain extent in the Dafoe category.
Nah, I'd say they're more well-known currently.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're bigger right now. Yeah,
Bardem, I give you, but Waltz, I don't see it, man.
Waltz is bigger for sure. Yeah.
It's
He's
the
just not in
accent.
many movies that you enjoy because he just plays the same character all the time.
Got a point.
So you kind of block him out. But he's definitely bigger. But I think his star is going to stop shining here pretty soon because I think people are starting to realize that. You can't keep saying Waltz brings in a great performance as another sinister German guy. Like it just eventually it's not going to translate anymore.
Yeah.
And on that note, we end our Dafoe conversation with a Waltz comment. As usual, we end every episode with what's piquing our interest, where we just say what's piquing our interest. This time, we're going to hear what's piquing our interest from Michigan and LA. But first, why break tradition? Garrett, what's piquing your interest?
I really thought you were going to go with one of them first. I was like, oh no, you're going to throw everything off. So I've got two things, Joe.
Oh, what a surprise.
They're both pretty small things. One, I ordered the Marvel Phase 2 box set finally after forever. And so that's supposed to arrive today. Two, I found out that Spider-Man figure that I ordered a couple months back is not shipping out in February. It's shipping out in November. So I'll be getting that sooner than expected.
Hooray!
I'm excited. So those are my two.
That's all right. I can appreciate that. All right, let's go to Sam. Sam in Michigan. What is piquing your interest out in Michigan this week?
Piquing my interest is actually, for the first time in a long time, Arrow. The last trailer that just came out for Arrow harkened back. I know they've been talking about it all the time, but it harkened back to season 1. And this is the first one that I watched, and it actually, if I didn't know things about this show already, I'd be interested in actually turning this on and seeing what was going on.
Are you going to, though?
Yeah, I'm going to watch the first episode because I'm the only one that's brave enough to endure the storm.
No, I'm waiting.
So-
I'm waiting for it to show up on Netflix, and I'm going to watch season 4, and I'll get caught up.
Oh,
Don't.
right.
Please
All right.
don't. I mean, watch season
I'm
4.
going to watch it.
It's painful.
You know what? I actually have two things.
Oh,
So I'm excited about that. No, my only second one is that we have now hit October, which means it is the month that Joe and I will be able to spam through Supernatural season 11 as soon as it comes out.
We only saw the first 2 episodes. There's
Yes.
much to be caught up on. Apparently, it's like one of the best seasons.
Really,
Yep.
I cannot believe you two still watch Supernatural.
hey
that
man,
show
Supernatural's great.
is the
Hang on.
worst.
It's sexy X-Files.
Hang on.
Exactly.
Watch is a loose term as well, because I used to never miss an episode, and the last 2
You mean
seasons.
worship?
Yes, the last 2 seasons I've missed. I didn't watch them. I'll watch them when they come to Netflix.
You didn't watch them because they're horrible.
No,
they
it's
were
one of the
good.
few. It's one of the few shows that actually you can't tell how good it is by how long it's gone. Because season 9 was great and season 10 kind of was bad, and
Yeah.
but the reviews for season 11 was great again, and 8 and 7 were awful. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
It doesn't know what it wants to be.
Yeah.
Dom, you're out in LA. You've got your finger on the pulse. What's piquing your interest?
Oh, well, I've not done this, so I'm gonna do 3 just like them. All right,
Jesus.
so no, 2 of them is just movies.
Okay.
Fences is about to come out with Denzel Washington
Ooh,
and
that looks so
Viola
good.
Davis. It looks fantastic. Garrett just sent me the trailer, but I've seen it already a million times. The Broadway show was fantastic. I wanted to go see it in New York. That's one of those shows that you get so much buzz about that I was so excited. My professor in college. That's his favorite show. And they're putting in a movie, and it looks great. Looks fantastic. Next would be the Nat Turner story that's coming out. I'm kind of weird about it because dude raped the chick, but I mean, the movie's important. You don't want to think about that. So I'm really going in with a positive mind about history instead of rape. And also, lastly, the Queen of LA was robbed at gunpoint the other day. It's the first time I'm actually thinking about Kanye and Kim Kardashian.
Hang on, I had to figure out who the heck you meant as the Queen of LA.
Queen of LA?
Kim Kardashian is.
She is?
Actually, Kim Kardashian West. I'm sorry, I just said that wrong. I hear about that bitch every day. And she got robbed.
She was robbed at gunpoint?
Yeah.
Wait, was she?
Awesome.
Hang on. Was she robbed at gunpoint, or was she Ryan Lockley robbed at gunpoint?
Yeah. She was in like the closet, and they had guns out or something like that. The bitch was anyway. So
not important.
All day today, it's been like on my news feed, and I'm actually concerned. I'm like, what did they take? What did they take from Kanye?
Wait, is North okay?
How was Kanye affected? That's what I think.
I'm curious. Is North okay?
I don't know if North was there. She might have been somewhere else. In my interest.
Oh, Kim Kardashian tied up in a $9 million jewelry heist, French officials say.
French officials.
Why are French officials reporting on this?
France.
Because it was in Paris, yeah.
Oh.
The Queen of LA does travel, gentlemen.
No.
Hey,
No. She stays in the States.
Big time, folks.
All right, what's piquing my interest is I didn't know the show existed, so I've been trying to catch up on it because the second season premiered, and it is great. It's called Impastor, and it stars none other than Smallville's own Michael Rosenbaum.
What?
Going back to his comedic roots where he is a fugitive on the run from the law who poses as a pastor in a small town. It's actually really funny, and it's a TV Land show. And TV Land, I grew up was like, TV Land's like the old, oh, you watch this if you're looking for I Love Lucy or Dick Van Dyke reruns. Here it's like TV Land's apparently been coming out with original stuff, and it's not all bad. Apparently Hilary Duff has a series on there that's doing very well. And they had the Jim Gaffigan show would air on Comedy Central, but it was really on TV Land apparently.
Sam's face was perfect when you said Hilary Duff. He's like, really? I've heard that name in years.
I don't have a problem with Hilary Duff. I have a problem with you saying she's doing something in TV really well.
I'm not the one that's saying she's doing something TV. I'm repeating what I hear from critics.
Okay.
You're right.
So that's what.
Hey, I watched Lizzie McGuire. That's fine.
I did not.
She was fine. She was fine.
She's still fine.
Yeah, she's still looking good.
I gotta look at her.
She's no longer with the Mike Richards, I think, from the LA King. She's free and single, man.
Jackpot.
And she's on Tinder, Dom, and I believe she's located in LA, so you can actually look her up.
I'm not about that Tinder life, but I will go down to Hollywood later on tonight and try to make something happen.
What show is she in?
It's called Younger. Are you Googling it?
Yes. Okay. Younger?
Yes.
What is this show? Oh, she's a single mom.
No, she's not the single mom.
Oh, I didn't know. I don't think she's the lead. Yeah, it's like a 40-year-old lady that pretends she's younger.
Yeah.
To get a job. Classic TV Land.
I had a segue and now I've lost it again.
If you know where Joe's segue is at.
If you know where my segue's at, help us out. There's many different ways you can do so, just like Garrett did. You can email us at 3wiseradio@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter at 3wiseradio /# 3wiseradio. You can find us on Instagram at 3wise.
What is wrong with you?
We're laughing at you. You can find us on Facebook at 3Wise Media. Tom, thanks for joining us this week. Anything you want to promote while we have you on right now?
You say what now?
Anything you want to promote while we have you on right now?
Oh man, I'm going to New York December the 2nd to do a show. I'm doing a show in Chicago December the 6th and the 8th, St. Louis December the 22nd, LA November the 11th. Cape Girardeau, I'm going to do a fundraiser December the 16th, and also I'm doing a show that night as well. Holla at me at www.domthomasmusic.com.
DomThomasmusic.com. I assume all the info for all those shows are up on there, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, there you go. That's great information.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week, Dom.
See ya.
Three Wise Radio is a production of Three Wise Media. For more information, check us out on Facebook.